I'm a Wolf fan.
Welcome to another edition of Tracking the Wolves with your voice of the Wolves. That's this guy, Ben Root. Let's check last week's sports action for your Northern squads. Last Wednesday, the NSU wrestling team notched a 30-18 non-conference win over Dakota Wesleyan. The Wolves won 4 of the 6 contested battles. Dustin Caspers and Blake Pearman picked up pins, and Grant Steen and Anthony Navarro each grabbed wins via decision. Thursday, however, the wrestlers did come up short at Mankato's place in an NSIC bout, 44-6. Wolves got a couple wins there by decision, Sean Havlovic and Joe Gomez providing those. In track and field competition, NSU set a bunch of records in Brookings at the SDSU Indoor Invite. On the women's side, Sasha Hoveen and Dakota Bowen ran 5th and 11th respectively in the 5,000-meter run, both of those beating the prior school record time. The lone first place finish for Northern. How about Lindsey Gass taking first in the 1-mile run, even beating some Division I competition there. For the guys, Andy Johnson set a new school mark in the 200-meter dash, taking 10th place. Brandon Crine was 6th in the 800-meter run, setting an NSU record in that event. And the relay team of Crine, Nick Lindworm, Cameron Sennis, and Mark Gilkerson broke the school's best time in the 4x800-meter relay as they took 6th. On Sunday and Monday, NSIC multis took place in Mankato, but NSU wound up just outside the points. Zach File and Dylan Dahl took 9th and 10th respectively there, just a few points out of 8th place to get those points. And on the basketball court, only fitting that the NSU women would have that 28-game home winning streak come to a close on Friday the 13th. St. Cloud State eking out a 61-59 victory over NSU. Northern gave up only 4 offensive rebounds and ended up plus 12 on the glass, but they allowed the Huskies to hit at a 43% clip from the floor, including a 10 of 14 game for Betsy McDonald, who had a career night with 26. Northern got 20 points to 14 rebounds as well from Rachel Krogman, 13 points from Devin Brecky also in that loss. The next night, things didn't start any better. Duluth jumped ahead in the first half and held a 28-19 lead at recess. The 9 points they were down, well, that was a season high for the women of Northern at halftime. Second half, those saw things change mightily. Wolves put 60 points on the board in the second half and hit 77% of their shots to win it easily, 79-59 when all was said and done. Wolves had not scored 60 points in any of their prior 4 games, let alone a half, but some strong determination and good ball movement gave them the lopsided win. Krogman turned in her 4th straight double dip, 22 points and 11 boards. Megan Muchler hit 19 points, 17 of those in the second half, and Paige Watasha connected for a dozen. Northern ladies are now 14-6 in conference, a game up on Moorhead with 2 to play. Friday didn't go as planned for the guys either. St. Cloud State made it a doubleheader sweep at Wachs Arena with a 92-81 win. That's the first time that's happened this season at the Barnett Center. Ty Storston had a career night, though, with 27 points. Seth Bashan with a double-double at 17 points and 11 rebounds. Sky Warwick sunk a dozen, while Mitch White had a career high with 7 assists in that loss. Teams were equal in rebounds and turnovers, but NSU was outscored by 11 at the free throw line. Things were even more frustrating Saturday as the team seemed to be in control in the first half and went into the break up 29-15, holding the 4th leading scorer in the conference without a point before the break. Duluth broke out, though, in the second half, coming back from a 17-point deficit for the win, 67-63. Each team had 25 buckets and 7 made free throws. The only difference here, well, the Bulldogs had 4 more of those buckets come from behind that 3-point line. NSU was plus 12 on the glass and gave up only 3 offensive rebounds in that defeat. Warwick led Northern with 13, Storston had 11, and Bashan had 10 points to go with 8 rebounds, while Mitch White tied a career high with 9 rebounds. NSU guys are 13-7 in conference this season, 2nd in the North, and a game up on St. Cloud in the division standings. That's a look at last week's action for the Maroon and Gold. We'll talk more Northern sports in just a moment right here on Tracking the Wolves.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories
we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome back here on Tracking the Wolves with yours truly, Ben Root. Time to talk some basketball on this edition. And joining us, freshman out of St. Francis, Minnesota, Jake Johnson, with us on the show. Thanks for coming on, Jake.
You bet.
Well, you come in from St. Francis, just north of Minneapolis. What's the adjustment been like coming in from there to living in Aberdeen?
I thought it'd be a little bit more different, but I mean, it's not. I mean, Aberdeen, when I thought of Aberdeen from St. Francis, Minnesota, I thought of a real small town, not a lot to do here. But when I came on the visit, I mean, the town's pretty decently big. I mean, you're not going to be going out to the beaches and go swimming in no lakes or nothing like that like I would back in Minnesota, but I mean, it hasn't been too much of a difference.
And the weather's been pretty comparable, I'm guessing, for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to the cold. I mean, the wind's a lot different here and a lot stronger, but the cold is something that from St. Francis is pretty used to.
If you were taking a trip to the Twin Cities, what are your favorite places to go check out as far as eating in Minneapolis and St. Paul area?
Eating in Minneapolis area, I'd have to say never been to a lot of restaurants in Minneapolis, but I went to Lake Calhoun. Is pretty cool to do some walking around and stuff like that. But I mean, from closer to home, places that I eat, Coon Rapids area, Denny's, Texas Roadhouse, places that if I'm in St. Francis or around home, that's places that I usually eat at.
Okay. So you have a lot of places there, even though it was, I think, around 7,000 people in town, you have a lot of...
Right. There's bigger towns about like Anoka. I mean, it's a lot bigger than St. Francis is, and that's 15 minutes. So that's usually where we'll go to eat or stuff like that.
What class of high school basketball is that for your school there?
That's 4A. So we are the top class with the big dogs of Hopkins and you name it. So.
Okay. You didn't have to do too much traveling then, since it's such a big school, I'm guessing?
No, not terrible. It wasn't bad.
Okay. But a lot more road trips, a lot further here for Northern, and we have our final one of the regular season coming up this week. But you probably did a little bit of traveling with the AAU squad out there. You played with the Fury.
Yep.
Same team that Shribes and DJ and Carter all come from. Did that have any influence in deciding to come to play for Northern?
I had talked to DJ a little bit, DJ and Carter, prior to coming here. I played DJ in high school basketball. They got the best of us, beat us close game, but
tip of the cap.
But I mean, I talked to him via Twitter, and I talked to Carter when I came out here, and they kind of showed me how close knit the team was and everything. And I had known they played for the Fury. I talked to Ben Davis, which was the director of the Fury, and he was my coach, and he had told me good things about Northern, and it went from there.
Well, it's pretty cool. And what kind of put Northern over the top? Because I understand you had quite a few, teams looking at you.
Putting Northern on top was kind of putting the team first. Coach Sather and Coach Severide really do a good job making you feel like you're at home and you're wanted here. They came to almost all my football games, and that's 5 hours away. I mean, and they went to watch me play football for an hour and then drive back. So I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, they did a home visit. They kind of did everything. I mean, just as much as any other school and more.
So football, what 6'8" football? Receiver?
Wide receiver, correct.
Okay.
Fades in the end zone.
So it was between that and tight end, but I don't know what.
Right.
What are you, 210? Is that what it was?
Yeah, about 210. Yeah. When high school, I was about 200. So I mean, I
Okay.
wasn't running across the middle or nothing in front of linebackers. I was running down the sidelines.
So that's a good play there. Smart coach.
Right.
How's your first season been compared to what you were thinking it would be like coming in?
It's pretty exciting. I mean, I didn't expect for the team to be the successful right away. I really didn't know coming in what a college team needed to have and what it needed. I mean, I came in the summer and knew that everyone was very talented, and to play at this level, I needed to step it up. And I had a lot of ups and downs as a freshman, but I mean, my experience has been great so far. What's
Maybe been the best surprise for you, other than the record, I guess?
Best surprise, I'd have to say, that's a tough one. Best surprise would probably be just eating-wise. I'd say when we go out, I mean, they treat you real well, eat you. You're not paying for food. You're not paying for your breakfast, lunch, dinner. I mean, that's pretty cool
And you get good rest on the trips, it seems like, too, right?
It happens. I mean, coming in from wherever, you get back at midnight, get back at 12:31. But I mean, they let you sleep in until 9:30. Go to Continental breakfast for the last half an hour. At least they don't get you up at 8 or nothing. So
yeah, exactly. It's my best sleep of the week. So
right.
As far as the video, did you watch much video in high school as far as prepping for games, and how much do you kind of work on that now?
I think we did a little bit more than other schools, because I talked to some local schools around St. Francis and they weren't watching video, and I was like, kind of thinking that was a little weird. But I'd say it's about the same, to be honest. We're watching film probably 2-3 times a week maybe, and that was a little bit the same high school we'd watch. My coach would actually make clips. He would make playlists titled Jake and things I needed to work on or whatever, so I would always have a little playlist to look on defensively wise or offensively wise, and I look at that each week and stuff like that. But I mean, other than film, yeah, I watched quite a bit in high school.
Talking about improving, where do you think you need to work on the most here in this last part of the season?
I would say the most is kind of every play. I mean, Coach talks to me about it, kind of dialing in and sharpening it up, being more tighter with moves and stuff like that. And then defensively wise is something that all year I've been trying to keep lower and be able to move the feet quicker, so you're not using so much hands defending perimeter players and such like that.
Is there somebody particular on the court that you're studying from and learning the most from?
I would say probably Mitch or Seth. They taught me a lot on playing every play, and obviously they're the seniors on the team, so pretty leaders, and they're more in my position. But I mean, Ty's helped me. All three seniors helped me a ton, because Ty's helped me with ball screens. I mean, even like this summer when I came here, he was telling me how to treat the ball screens when the forwards are coming up and screening the point guards, and he's kind of teaching me little things and kind of taking everything his wing all the time. So.
Well, it sounds good. As we kind of look at the student part of the student athlete, first year I noticed there was no major on there. Any closer to picking out what you want to do as far as major goes?
Somewhere in business. Right now I'm looking at maybe business management or sports management, but I'm still pretty open. I mean, I'm going to come back next year and hopefully try to narrow it in and try to figure out what I want to major in next year.
Well, there's Mitch and Ty, because you got business and finance there. I think those two guys. So.
Right.
As far as if you were on an island or going on a long road trip, what would you take to kill the time, as far as maybe a CD or a movie or a book or something?
I'll probably take a Netflix along, take some a TV show, maybe One Tree Hill. I'll bring along Avengers, maybe, good movie, and then Safe Haven.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks.
You bet, no problem.
Jake Johnson there, out of St. Francis, Minnesota, freshman for the Wolves, and having a good season so far. We'll see how the schedule looks for the weekend coming up here shortly on Tracking the Wolves.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why.
These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
Welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. Time now to look at the week ahead in Northern sports. Coming up on Wednesday, the Wolves wrestling team is going to seek out their first NSIC win of the season as they host UMary. The match is the final home bout of the season for your Wolves. Later in the week, the guys are going to finish off the regular season in Moorhead this Friday. Swimmers have a big week ahead as well with the NSISC conference meet. That starts Wednesday and ends Saturday down in Cleveland, Mississippi. The softball squad also has its first games of the season. Yep, that's right, softball. It's coming up Thursday as they take on Duluth twice inside the West St. Paul Dome in non-conference play. Track and field teams will host SMSU in a duel. That's coming up at Wachs Arena on Friday. And finally, it is the end of the regular season for your NSU basketball teams this weekend. They'll be heading out of town. Hoopsters tipping off at 6 o'clock in Crookston Friday, and then 4 o'clock in Bemidji on Saturday. And as usual, all that action can be heard at ESPN 1420, 1071, and on the web at ESPNaberdeen.com. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Tracking the Wolves. To stay up to date on the latest Northern sports notes, join me again for another edition next week. Until then, as always, go Wolves.